Davies in the middle. Checks back against Carter and scores. That is atypical for the Amina Margot.
Quickly gets it back again. Oh, what a goal! Well, that sums up her season. The Gunners are WSL champions.
We are still not panicking, Mr. Eidveld. We are still not panicking, Mr. Eidveld. Welcome to another episode of Vic Akers Wonderland. And this time, there's no Adam. Unfortunately, he's away and busy sorting out the railway lines for everyone. So hopefully, if you're in the UK, your railway line ran by you is going to be working soon. But however, we're joined by, as always, the amazing Lottie. How are you?
Hey, just nice to be back. I've got a bit of still tail end of the stinking flu, but I do apologise to any audio listeners if it takes me a minute to answer any of Matt's opinions tonight, because I may be having a coughing fit. And for anybody who's watching on YouTube, I am so sorry. You don't need to see that. But other than that, yeah, I'm all good. I'm over Man City. Can't be dealing with that nonsense. Got to the pub on Sunday afterwards to watch the men's game, and then we were 4-0 up, so I was happy. I didn't miss Declan Rice's goal. I'm happy.
It's usually the other way around, isn't it? Where the women cheer you up and the men.
I don't know what it is. Every time the men seem to play West Ham, it's either a draw or a loss for the women, and then the men go on to win with a good scoreline over at West Ham. But it's a bit weird. It might just be coincidence that it happened like twice. Maybe more.
It's been a very long week, I think, for a lot of us. It'll be a longer week potentially for Jonas and the team as well. So just quickly running through the news. So fixture changes. This is going to be fun. Stamford Bridge against Chelsea, 15th of March, officially confirmed now. That'll be a Friday. For the UK viewers, it will be on Sky Sports. For international viewers, we're still not sure, so double check to see if it's going to be on DAZN or it might be somewhere elsewhere. However, there's now an added layer of issues with the FA Cup, because potentially, should Chelsea get, I nearly said Chelsea women then, Chelsea men get into the FA Cup quarter-final and it's a home tie for them, that tie will be changed from the 15th down to, I would imagine, another day. So a lot of issues, and it's going to also be a 7 p.m. kickoff as well. So yeah, again, a lot of issues. Friday game in London. Lottie,
7 o'clock on a Friday night. Oh, good luck to everyone that's travelling into the bridge. If you're coming into London, and well, all the London-based fans will know what it's like to get across the West End and in towards, should we say Fulham, at that time of night. So that's going to be fun. It doesn't surprise me, but the main source of most the club's incomes are their men's games, unless we're talking about Arsenal. And our ticket sales are doing really well at the moment, aren't they?
yes, unfortunately, Adam's not here to give those updates. So we, thanks to Freddie,
I think we have sold out the lower tier for Tottenham now. From the last update that I saw from him.
Just from Freddie, who was on the podcast with Adam and Lottie, he has given an update of 59,000 seats have been sold. So we are close to capacity for the Manchester United game at the weekend. And North London Derby. I'm all over the shop.
What's a Derby?
I don't know.
North London
Derby.
Do you know what? I hope we take that game, like we just go for the jugular on that game. I need it more than anything in this world right now. I don't care about Russo playing Man United. That's the game on my list at the moment. But yeah.
It's North London Derby that I imagine would be a full sellout, because it's North London Derby. Not many people get it for them get tickets for the men's one. They're probably more likely to get it for the women's,
Oh,
and
you
they'll
are.
get a good game of football out of it compared to what we got at their toilet bowl, shall we say, to be polite.
It does look like a toilet seat from the sky.
It really does. It's not
I've
just
even
that;
seen.
they also
I've
mirror
seen.
the Emirates on the inside as well. If you look around, you go, "That's from
Yeah.
the Emirates." You basically
Yeah.
nicked that and made it
On
worse.
social media, there's this pilot. He flies over Tottenham. He says he points out to the to the passengers and calls it the toilet bowl. Do you think he's an Arsenal fan?
Probably. They can keep their fancy tech and everything, and go-karts and
Oh yeah.
whatever else they put up. Their skywalks and all that. It's nothing for. It doesn't mean anything at the end of it. However, there is a ground that both you and I really enjoy. Villa Park, Aston Villa, March the 24th. Tickets are to go on sale for general on the 20th. That is next Tuesday at 12 p.m.
It's a week today.
I'm looking forward to this game. The Aston Villa. Aston Villa's always a good game. You always get Casey McCabe special, and it's always it's a great game to go to. And I think you kind of got it a little bit at the Emirates, but Villa Park's special for a lot of people for many reasons. I think Lottie, you've got your own special reasons as well.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. There's been a few games I've been up there over the years. I'm yet to get to a women's game up there, but it's on my bucket list. It needs to be done. Although I've been to Villa Park a lot of times to watch the boys, there's just something a bit more special about the girls at the moment for me. Going away, I mean, I'm going down to the London City Lionesses game tomorrow with some luck. So I've literally got to finish work at 5 and then bomb it halfway across London. Well, basically out of London in rush hour. So it's not going to be fun.
With fixtures, we've now got a international window coming up. A lot of fun and games all around. So Sweden have recently called up Amanda and Stina, which is great to see. We've also seen Leah Velti also be called up for Switzerland, obviously the national captain. There was a video that Harper Gorey, the daughter of Katrine Gorey, did to announce the Matildas lineup, which included our 3 Aussies of Kyra, Steph, and Caitlin as well. But I think for a lot of fans, both Arsenal and England fans, will be looking at that England list and seeing what was on there. Well, Lotta Verben-Moy and Alessia Russo, and we've got our captain back in Leah Williamson. What are your thoughts?
That's the first name I looked for. Let's be honest, as Arsenal fans, it's the first name we looked for. We know Ruth Leslie is going to be there. We know Lotta's going, but with Leah coming back and performing the way she did on Sunday, that's the first name we're looking for. Serena Wiegman was at that game, so we knew she was back. We knew she was watching, and there was a fair few England stars on that pitch. But I think the main one she was looking out for was Leah Williamson. Let's face it, England need their captain back.
Were you thinking that perhaps it was going to be too soon? Because that was my thoughts on the whole situation at the moment, was that it was too soon. She's only just getting back. She's not getting the minutes. She's only getting selective minutes at the moment.
I think for me, it's a Vivian Miedema situation. We kind of said this when Viv first went back to go train with the Netherlands. I was about to say Dutch then. And we all said, oh, she won't get any minutes, and she won't get any minutes, and like all of a sudden she's got a few minutes. But it's all about easing her back in. I mean, this time round she got 75 minutes against Man City on Sunday, which was absolutely brilliant. It was like watching the old Leah, but a more angry human being. But it's not too soon for me. I just hope Serena doesn't play her out for the full 90. She's not ready for a full 90, and that is, as an Arsenal fan, that is my biggest fear. But I also want her to get minutes for England, and we need her back up and running. Yeah, yes, they've got no competition over the summer, it gives them a break, but we still need her back to full fitness as well domestically, if anything.
Do you think that was there anyone else in that list that maybe surprised you a little bit? There's a lot of speculation about how Nikita Paris wasn't included, considering her form at
Do
the
you know
current
what?
moment.
I'm actually going to completely throw you on this one. It's got to be Beth England. That was the odd one for me. I mean, Nikita Paris, I get she's been getting in the goals, Skinner's been removing her, and all the controversy around that at the moment, because I know a lot of Man United fans aren't happy with him. When she scored a hat trick, Skinner is taking her off. Like, what are you doing? She's just scored you a hat trick. I still can't quite fathom that myself personally. So she's one of the names that's missing off that list for me. And again, Beth England, she's sort of been on the fringes, but we saw in the last few games that I've watched for England anyway, that she was slowly being integrated in, and now all of a sudden she's not there. I think Grace Clinton being called up as well was really interesting. Wasn't expecting that at all, but it's well deserved.
There is a little bit of speculation as well as the under 23s will also be out in Spain for the Austria and Italy friendly, that there might be minutes going around. So there is a chance for others to get involved as well, which is good to see. Is that something that potentially would be quite nice to see? So come 2025, which I will come to in a minute. We'll see, potentially some of these under 23s we might be seeing in that 23 player squad.
I think as much as we all absolutely adore the Lionesses, I mean, with the likes of Lucy Bronze aging, I don't want to say it, but she said it herself. She doesn't know how much longer her knee's going to last, and whether she'll make another tournament. But you've got to look at the squad and look at the future and what we can expect from them. Most of these girls are at the peak of their career, but there are people like, say, the most recent retirement is Ellen White, and we were never sure whether Leslie Russo was going to be like able to fill those boots. But then we've also got the likes of Rachel Daly, who's also come in to replace her as an option. And I just, although there is no one else like Ellen White. There is no one like her. I mean, the amount of times we say, how many times is she going to miss before she gets it in the net? It's kind of becoming Leslie Russo's thing, but it's a case of with Daly, you need to play completely different to how you play with Russo. And that, again, is Serena is going to have to adapt the squad around the top line, I think, sometimes, because it becomes really difficult when you've got Lauren Hemp, you've got Beth Mead. They interchange. Everyone saw how they played in the Euros together. Beth is now back in the England squad. I expect to see more of the same, and it does get me excited. But how do you have a striker up top who can play with them as smoothly as Ellen White did most of the time?
I think this is one of the worries for me, is that essentially you've got Alessia Russo, this is one of the worries that I have when she's with Arsenal, is that she's not getting in the box. She's too busy being on the outside or playing out to the wing and putting crosses in, to being, hold on a minute, you're one of the tallest players in the box. There's if you do look at our midfield of Leah, Kim, and Viv. Viv's the tallest out of all three of them. I don't expect Viv to go in there and be marching into the box and scoring headers week after week. I know there was a little bit of a weapon that England did have with Jill Scott a little bit, and the experience, things that she was one of the tallest players that we had as well. It is a worry that you don't have that fox in the box, and maybe that comes with a little bit more time to say, look, you need to stop playing outside the box a little bit more. You need to be making sure that you're making those runs into the box, because that's what we brought you for.
I completely get that, but it's a case of, I think the expectation on Leslie, I've done it myself, I will hold my hands up to it. The expectation is too high for her just to come in and automatically settle down. For me personally, she had to do the majority of the work at Man United. And she needs to realise we've got players like Viv, like Kim, like Frida, who will do what they're supposed to be doing properly. If they're not going to take a shot, they will get those balls into you. You can look at, I mean, I know this is probably not a really good comparison, but Emily Fox. she slotted right in. I mean, that relationship with Beth Mead is coming along absolutely brilliantly. She's doing what she's supposed to be doing, and I'm loving every minute of it. Because I'll be honest with you, I didn't know anything about her when she first came. I was like, okay, new player, let's see what she's got in the locker before I have an opinion.
Yeah.
But it's because she's well known by the Arsenal fans and by us. There's an expectation there where Emily Fox hasn't got that expectation, unless you're an Arsenal fan who knows what Emily Fox can do.
Yeah.
So it's a case of, I think we just need to give her a little bit more time. I know I have my jokes about the Leslie Russo effect. She scores worldies and she misses easy tap-ins, but it's something that's always been a part of her game, from what I can see. So I'm not complaining. I shouldn't complain about it, but I do because I can. But yeah, just give her some more time. She's going to need time to sort herself out, the England team. But and then it comes to the point where how much time is too much time.
Yeah. And
so it's a double-edged sword with that one.
You have made a good point there, where I think a lot of it goes back to what Adam has said. Essentially, is that maybe this season will be seen more as a time tracker of events. I think we've mentioned so many times that potentially 3 teams this season are going to lose their managers at the end of the season with their contracts. Apart from obviously Emma Hayes is going. We're not sure about what's happening with Gareth Taylor, and we're not sure what's happening with Mark Skinner.
Oh, have you heard the latest rumour on that?
I haven't.
The latest
No.
rumour on who could be the next Chelsea manager?
No,
Frank Lampard.
Okay.
I know. I'm
okay.
sorry, I couldn't help. Someone told me on Sunday. I went, what? Like 3 times, and I'm just sitting there. I actually ended up crying with laughter. I thought it was that funny.
Well,
we've seen what he did with the men's team, and I can't see him doing anything with the girls at all. As much as the wealth of talent that's in that team, I don't think he's going to do anything with it. But it's just a rumour, but it's a scary rumour. Put it that way.
Well, the team turned around and said that they want. That was one of the rumours as well. As they turned around and said that they want a female coach. They don't want a male coach. I can see a lot more of the reasons why for them, because it is slowly, it's that transition. You're going from elite winner mentality to an unknown. So essentially, you never know what you're going to get, and that's difficult.
Absolutely. I mean, even with the likes of Sam Kerr out, they're still doing really well. I mean, they're losing a few people to the Gold Cup as well. And
that's
it's Fisher and I can't remember who else they're losing.
Mia Fisher and Macario. Is it Macario, or is she injured?
Oh, I'd have to go and have a look. But I think they're losing at least 2. We're losing the 3. Obviously,
that is an interesting point though, because Ramirez is meant to be going, but Chelsea have refused her to go because it falls outside the international window, which is a bit bizarre.
That's interesting.
But I have a feeling the reasoning behind that is because of Sam Kerr, and they don't have another striker.
They don't. If they lose Mayra Ramirez, that's it. I mean, she scored a brilliant goal over the weekend. Even I think I saw it on She's a Baller's Instagram. It was beautiful. Even I went, wow, for a Chelsea goal. But yeah, no, personally, I don't think she has every right to go if she wants to go. I mean, Colombia were absolutely brilliant in the World Cup. I loved every minute of them playing. Quite excited she's come over here. Unfortunately, it's with Chelsea, but long may it continue with them. Like as much as I love having all our European players, we should be looking at the American, South American, Asia. Well, we do a lot of business with Australia already, but we should be looking further out rather than just Europe. It's no disrespect to the players that we've got, but we should be looking everywhere.
There was some real good gems, wasn't there?
Definitely.
Madrid have just not Real Madrid. Madrid CFF have just lost one of their players to Bay FC for a world record fee of $750,000, so around that 200. That's 750,000. I don't know if that's dollars or euros, but it looks like the transfer window is going to be a lot more closer to that. Someone's going to be that £1 million player. It's just a case of who now.
Yeah, it's also nice. I'm glad you mentioned the CFF Madrid. It's nice to see Gio getting her started as well. Gio. Although they did lose to a Atleti, don't they? I did actually kind of watch that, and it wasn't great.
I do not have a lone watch on here, but as we're talking internationals and competitions, we'll just quickly cover Arsenal because you mentioned it quickly. Emily Fox will not be available for the Manchester United game because the US have turned around and said that they want their players to do their pre-tournament organisation and prep before. So we will have Sabrina out on the bench and we will have Chloe playing as well, but Emily Fox doesn't miss out. So we're starting to slowly see, right, okay, what's going to happen.
Katie McCabe back at right back,
Yeah.
and it is. And Steph gets a start. There isn't anybody else. We won't have this problem once we get them Voiter back, but Katie McCabe back at right back again.
And just quickly as well, with the Euros coming up next year, there's been a huge miscalculation, shall we say. The Swiss government have decided to slash the funding for their Euros from 15 million to 4 million. And this is the biggest kicker of the lot. They spent 82 million for this is all in for Swiss francs, polarized to the people of Sweden. In 2008, they spent 82 million.
Sweden's krona.
Yeah, Sweden's krona. Swiss francs.
You just apologized to Sweden for Switzerland francs.
Yeah, because I said Sweden before.
My bad. Sorry, go on.
No, so 4 million for a tournament of this size where you've got 16 European teams it's a huge kicker considering that they've spent 82 million in the past. You've got the home of FIFA as well there. It just feels like they're not taking this seriously at this current moment in time.
No, absolutely not. You put the bid in with the Netherlands and I forgot the other country.
You're thinking of the World Cup. I think we'll come to.
Sorry, I got confused again. No, it is really disappointing. I mean, it's a major tournament. You're cutting the funding for a sport in the last Euros where England won it. That basically sold out majority of games. Like, there's going to be a lot of fans traveling from the UK. There's going to be fans from around the world traveling in to go to this tournament, and you're cutting funding. It's just not good enough. Is there a specific reason why they've cut it? Or is it just because they overspent?
I haven't read the article at all, so this is a hands-on my fault. Yeah. But the generalization is that they've just slashed the funding, which is a bit odd. I mean, I just imagine if they were doing the Olympics this year in Zurich, for example, would they have slashed the funding for that? I imagine not. Whereas for a tournament that you have seen, as you rightly said, the attendances grow hugely. I mean, you're talking 30,000 plus seat stadiums, and it just feels like it's one step back and then 3 or 4 back. One or 2 steps forward and then 5 or 6 steps back. Getting me getting everything wrong in the wrong order tonight.
It's all right. Don't worry. You're good.
But we shall move on. Unfortunately, we do have to talk about our Man City game.
Do we really?
We'll try. So, to be honest, this was a game where it was very much cat and mouse. So just to get some of the stats on, Arsenal had 9 shots to City's 8. Arsenal had 5 of those on target. Man City only had 3. Jonas got his wish though. We had more of the ball, 53% to 47.
Didn't feel like it. Like it was just It was completely back and forth. Like, we weren't even that good in the first half. I wasn't impressed with it at all. Although, like, the general atmosphere was great, as it always is. It wasn't the usual electric vibe that I normally get when I'm in the North Bank. Although I'm not right next to the red and white, I can hear them from where I sit in the corner. And I found that there was a lot of tourists in that stand, and they just come along for a good atmosphere, and they're not contributing to it. If you're not contributing to something, just go and find a seat or go down to the south stand, because that team needs our voices. And if you're going to sit there and tell me to be quiet when I'm watching my team like at 0-0, not even get an opener yet, no, I don't want you there. I think the funny part was that it was a City fan, and I turned around and said, "You sure you want to be in this stand? Your fans are down the other end of the pitch." "Oh, I can stand where I like." And I went, "Then don't tell me to be quiet." He got a bit offended because I called Skinner a twat, but hey. And then, yeah, no, it was a bit of a weird game. It wasn't the usual Meadow Park I'm used to.
Is this maybe potentially, as you said, the Man City fan was there? Do you think that was maybe their intentions to try and disrupt the atmosphere, to try and
Not
sort of
really,
break it
no.
up?
Not really, no. It's the same problems in the men's games. There's a lot of tourists. The regular fans, the regular faces I see. I saw most of regular faces I normally see, but there was a fair few that were missing that just couldn't get hold of tickets. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate people want to go see the Arsenal women and they want to support the club, but we're not all rainbows and unicorns. Let's just put it that way. There's no disrespect to Bukayo Saka and his unicorn from the England cap, because we absolutely adore him and that unicorn. Even the poorly drawn Arsenal one.
Oddly enough, that unicorn is in the National Football Museum at the moment.
Oh, is it? Wow,
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, no, but it's. I think people need to start realizing that although there's a lot of women at these games, we will sing, we will chant the banner, but some people need to look up the line of what abuse is, right? I came across an article in the Telegraph by this person. I'm not going to name her because she just irritates me. Apparently saying "your shit are" to Kira Keating. It's counted as abuse. My first reaction to that is that is absolutely dramatic. Like, it doesn't matter what position you play, you thrive on the banter. Beth Mead's is a prime example in her interview. When the Tottenham fans were giving her grief in the corner, she crossed it in, Viv scored, done. That they used it to drive. I've seen an interview with Farrah Williams and Rachel Laws as well. She was talking about the Arsenal fans when she was in that goal. She likes the banter, and she fuels that your shit are and all the banterish chants into her game. And you can see that every time she's performed. If you look back at that game at Liverpool, you can see the fact that how she performed against us with that full stand of Arsenal fans behind her. I mean, Matt, you were sitting there.
Yeah.
You can. Am I wrong?
Yeah. I think.
And as a keeper yourself, what kind of do you use it to fuel your game? If you've had like away fans behind you or whatever, or do you block it out? I mean, Kira Keating, there's videos of her laughing at the Arsenal fans. It was nothing.
Yeah, it's one of those where either you just keep your head on it, you try and not let it distract you, or you just laugh it off because it kind of adds fuel to the fire, as you mentioned. Well, actually, speaking of Kira Keating, she had a fantastic game. And the Kim Little, I have to mention this, the Kim Little volley, and the fact that she's managed to get there. I don't think anyone was expecting this, but she's actually done really well there. She's made a couple of quick steps and then she's stretched over, and that's how she's managed to get on the end of it. Had she been a bit too far over, she might have overstretched and she would have completely missed it. But she's timed it perfectly well. But I wasn't expecting Kim to shoot. I was expecting Kim to play a little bit of a lofted over ball, and someone was going to be on the end of it to score it. That was a really odd moment. But Kiara Keating had a good game all round. I think she was player of the match for BBC. Oddly enough, the supporters chose Leah Williamson. I think that was more because she was back on the pitch getting the first start.
If I'm honest with you, her defending in that second half, it was sensational.
That goal line clearance was fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm
the
not
douche on
against
her
anything
foot
like
is
that.
just
but
music to my ears. But yeah, it's so good to have her back up and playing like against the big teams. I think one thing that did irritate me through that game was the Lauren Hemp and Katie McCabe issue. Don't know what happened. Like 1 minute Lauren Hemp's standing there, the next thing Katie McCabe's flat on her back. I'm like, wait, what's going on here? And then the stand starts shouting the referee's a Tory, which I think is more of an insult than the actual men's version, if I'm honest with you. But someone did say to me they're the same thing. But it was just, I didn't actually see what happened there, Matt. Did you? Did the cameras pick it up at all?
yes, so there was a couple of instances. I can't even get my words out properly tonight. Incidences of.
I'd rather do that than be having a coughing fit every 5 minutes.
There's a few. So Katie was trying to wind Lauren up quite a lot. So it was things like just putting the shoulder in a couple of times. Eventually, Lauren got a bit fed up and just sort of pushed her over and things like that. And eventually, I think the referee had to get involved and just say, "Look, enough is enough now." But they carried on throughout the game, and it's great to see because Lauren does thrive a lot on that chaotic energy, because it brings it out another level into her.
It does, and it also makes Katie step up her game as well when she has someone that will nudge her back. But she's got to be very careful because she's notorious for that yellow card. She had to be very careful. I can't even remember if she got carded that game.
No, I don't think she did.
I think she got away with it.
There were a couple of fouls there where I was looking at it, and they could have been a couple of fouls where both teams could have potentially got cards but weren't given. It was a bit of an odd one in this one where it was a very aggressive game, and you're thinking, well, we're going to walk it. It could be down to everyone could be down to 9 players here, but luckily it managed to stay as it was. Was that how it was from what you were seeing?
Yeah, no, it was very much like that, and it was just, it got to the point, I think, towards just, I can't remember which minute it was, but that on the line save from Keating, the whole stadium, the West Stand obviously erupted. They were so angry because from their perspective, it probably looked like it went in. And I don't know if you've seen the images floating about, but
Yes.
that was in as far as I was concerned. And we should have had extra time. I would have happily missed the men's 6-0 win over West Ham for extra time to watch the girls play. But actually, I am going to ask you this. Do we need VAR for instances like this? Yes or no?
No, right. I've always said this. We don't need VAR because let's say it as it is. The referees are not professional. If the referees are professional, they need
can't even get the cards right at the minute. Never
need
mind
the
the
tool.
blue card.
They need the right tools. And to be honest, let's have it as it is. The goal line technology in that instance was needed, and it wasn't. I would have been happy if goal line technology was there and they just turned around and went, "Oh no, ball has a buzz." It's odd when you're in the Champions League. I remember going to Bayern at the Allianz. The Japanese defender is now at Roma. It's going to do my head in. She cleared it off the line. She cleared it off the line, and you think, is it a goal? Is it not a goal? And there's no.
They decided not to use the goal line technology, didn't they, that day?
Yes. So everyone's looking around, looking at the referee to say, is that? But no, when you look back at it later on, it's like, oh yeah, that was well off, nowhere near the line. Well done, great defending. But in this instances, it needs to be sorted out, and it can't keep going on like this forever. I hope when Nuko come in, obviously we don't know what the group's going to be actually called. That's just the current.
You know what? I really hope it's nothing like the promotional video that I saw, because we're not, as I said earlier, we're not all unicorns and sparkles.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that they look at the referees and say, just sort of work with the PGM, PG, whatever the refereeing association is.
PGML.
If you could name all the letters of the alphabet, so I'll still get it wrong. But
to be fair, there's a couple abbreviations that I struggle with myself. Don't worry. Go on.
The referees association, they work with them closely, get them up to a better standard, because actually there was some good refereeing in this game. The fact that the ball hit the referee and she went, no, it's a free kick to you because it's come off me. It was good instances, good refereeing all round. It was really good to see. But
did get a ball to the head though, to be fair. And I was like, hang on a minute, is nobody going to give? You're not going to give anyone a yellow card, or because you didn't see it, or
I think there was an instance where I think it was Khadija Shaw was down for about 3 or 4 minutes and she just played on, which is great to see, but at the same time you're thinking, oh, and what if it's a head injury? What if it is one of those issues? But one of my biggest issues, we'll go back to the Cara Keating, was it over, was it not? We nearly didn't even see that at all because they were too busy playing a replay of something else. So we had all you hear is Vicky Sparks saying, calling it, and you have no idea what's happened because they're too busy not flashing back, and it was frustrating me because they weren't catching on that anything can happen. This isn't Premier League football. This isn't the FA Cup. This is an FA Cup type, but anything can happen at any moment in time. What would have I always go back to the men. I always use this example, the men's example in the Premier League, where Arsenal were just scored in North London derby, and then they're too busy taking the replays. Cesc Fabregas is through on goal and he scores, and that was nearly missed because they were too busy replaying things back. It's just common sense needs to prevail. If something's quick, stop the replays or show it once or twice. That's it. You don't need it 3 or 4 different times and different angles. It just gets too much and very frustrating.
I know, I get that, but it was a case of when you're standing in the North Bank from where I was, and obviously the whole stand, you hear the West Stand erupt like, angrily. You think, hang on a minute, what have we just missed? Because although most of them sing, they're not that noisy.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell if the East Stand was joining in as well, but I was standing like, hang on a minute, what happened there? Because all I can see is bodies, and I didn't have Adam on the commentary standing next to me. His commentary is always the best, especially if you're short. Adam, if you're listening, please don't let that go to your ego. But yeah, no, it's with the whole card situation, goal line technology. We don't need VAR. I don't want VAR. No. I want goal line technology. I do not want this blue sin bin card they've been talking about, because Katie will be collecting them like they're stickers for her shoes, and it opens the door for teams to cheat because you're down to 10 players or possibly less for like 10 minutes. I think it should be staying in rugby and hockey. Leave football alone. We need to be getting the red cards and yellow cards right first, because there was a couple of situations that we've seen over the seasons where you're sitting there, no, that should be a red, not a yellow, or no, that should have been a yellow, not a red, sort of thing. I think once we get the goal line technology, we invest in the referees and their training, they know how to use their cards, and they will give their cards when they're supposed to, then we can possibly consider VAR with the growth of the game. But in the stadiums that we're in, like Kingsmeadow, Bournemouth, Meadow Park, you've got Brighton and Crawley. You've got the I know London City Lionesses are a championship side, but they're in Dartford. When you've got small grounds like this, you can't expect them all to have all the technology that we want for it, and it's going to come with the growth of the game. Like, not everybody's as lucky as City to be across the road. Oh, let's go and get the VAR and put it in this training ground. Do you know what I mean? The academy ground. We're not all lucky like that. I mean, can you see Man United taking all their VAR gear out to LSV? No.
it's big enough, but I don't think it will. It wouldn't work in my
No.
opinion at LSP. They'll probably turn around and be like, "Oh, it's too cold. The technology's not working today."
Yeah, no, but if you look at everyone who plays in the smaller grounds anyway, it's not going to work.
No.
So goal line technology, it's touch and go. It depends on the locations of where people are playing. If you're a team like Arsenal that has 5 games this season at the main grounds for the club, no problem. But for some teams like, say, Chelsea, until this season, they didn't really play at Stamford Bridge. Old Trafford, they don't play there. I don't remember the last time Everton played at their ground or Liverpool.
Not I nearly said North London derbies again. Merseyside derbies. Sorry, I
Yeah, I know, but
imagine
that's just
though.
one game. But when it's more than one game, do you know what I mean?
I
mean,
imagine that the women will be playing more at doing it again, Goodison Park, because next season will be the last time Goodison's going to be there. I imagine it's not just going to be
yeah.
the Merseyside derby. I reckon about 2 or 3 of their games will be at Goodison Park to
No,
get it
I
a
hope
proper
so because,
send off.
like, I just hope that Arsenal are doing enough to inspire these other clubs. To like, obviously Villa are already doing it. Leicester have kicked the nail on the head. Let's be honest. Majority of their games are at the Foxes ground, and that's how it should be. But unfortunately, Leicester at the minute, no European competitions. They've got the cups and the main thing, so they've got the room for it. Whereas you look at a team like Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Champions League football, you've got European football, and it's a case of funding the staff, funding like clean up and everything else, and keeping the pitches healthy. And I know the main goal, long-term goal, was to have all our games there. I'd love to have it at the Emirates. I'd happily have a season ticket for the year, be at every game, happy. But it's also a case of we've got a contract with Bournemouth, and it's a sellout every game, and they make a lot of money off us from using their ground. So, and once that contract goes, are they going to let the academy games still be free on a Friday night, 7 o'clock? You turn up, just sit there, watch the academy play, and then so on and so forth. I know last Friday, Paul Davis was there, and a few others. Like, is that going to be still a social norm or no? Because we moved to the Emirates.
I think that's the other question as well, was that we only have Tim Stillman had to point this out. The other the man on brand, as we should say, the Emirates has only a significant amount of fixtures available for match days, which is kind of why we've
It's a season, isn't it, at the moment?
something like that. So
40 events a season, I think it is.
So we've got to be really careful with how things turn out. Obviously, the men's play at the Emirates; they don't have a second set of fixtures. I imagine because of what happened with the FA Cup, that's probably given some leeway, and especially with the League Cup as well, that's probably also helped as well. That's why the women.
Please don't remind me. I was at both of those games. Stop it. Stop it. You're so mean.
Just trying to get the point across that it's kind of helped the women quite a lot, though, because it's given us bonus slots.
You're so easy to wind up. You're so easy to wind up. But I knew what you were saying. Completely agree.
Well, with that game, there's some set of fans now calling for Jonas's heads. Your expressions paint 1,000 words, heads in hand there. There are other people suggesting that certain players aren't good enough and they need to go. It feels very much fans are yo-yoing at the moment and calling for action when it doesn't need to be. Essentially, this is a transition year for us because we've got players that are coming in that still need to learn the league. There's players that will be leaving, as such Noel and Jen, who have left and there's a huge amount of players missing. I mean, I asked Tim about Lena. No, he hasn't sent a message back to me, but there's nothing about Lena Hurtig at all. She wasn't picked for Sweden this week. We don't know what's happening with her, and it just feels like this is going to be an ever-ending saga. And if she doesn't if she continues to get those injuries, I don't think she'll be an Arsenal fan, an Arsenal player next season.
I really don't know. It's a case of what the boss has seen, I think, and what potential he sees in a player. I don't think he will give up on someone quite so easily, although you can argue that with Gio. I do feel like he's given up on her. Of her going back out on loan again, and the amount of squad depth we've got, I don't think she's going to get a look in. If I'm honest with you, I can see her going. I don't know how to word it now.
Just on Gio, I hope that she is in the plans, because she was brought in. We did pay a fee for. Actually, no, we didn't in the end, but we need to make sure that she was developing. Obviously, calling her back, the injuries last season didn't really plan that way, and you're just thinking, right, okay, try and kick on. But before you know it, we've got over 25 players. She refused to go on loan for. Obviously, you don't want to go to Tottenham because that's the end of your career at Arsenal.
That's our retirement home.
Yeah, and it does make you wonder what happened to the last two that went there. They went and retired. Whereas it feels like now that she's at Madrid, she's gotten that confidence back, and she just needed that chance to shine. I hope that she is in the plans, because if I'm honest, she is a very lethal weapon to have either on the wing or up front. It's just how you use her, and if you're not using her, you're gonna have to get rid of her. And it might be at that crossroads come the summer.
Yeah,
which is a bit unfortunate, but I think a few players are on that verge at the moment.
I think we're going to have to shrink the squad and also bring a few bodies in, sort of thing. That sounds so bad. It sounds like I'm plotting a murder. I'm glad I didn't say the word coal. But yeah, no, it's going to happen. It's just how football goes, you know that, Matt. I mean, I'm still quite wounded from Jen Beattie going. I thought I never would be, but I'm like, this is not right. She's part of the furniture, and now she's not there, and I'm like, where am I going to get my good women's Arsenal content from now? So yeah.
Well, do not give up, because she will be at the Manchester United game, and we have seen that she hasn't had a proper goodbye, so we might see her at half time. And I'm looking forward to having Jem, because she can actually have a proper send off. For her last game would have been the game against Reading.
When Leah Williamson's return. Her last goal was in Paris.
Yes, the goal against Paris.
Yeah. So yeah, but we will always love her for Pop Goes Please on this podcast.
And we shall finish towards the end now of Conti Cup Take 2, shall we?
Yeah, if the pitch doesn't flood. I know someone who knows that ground very well. So, and yeah, that pitch doesn't flood. So, I think we know the real reasons.
So, yeah, there's a bit of conspiracy theories flying around at the moment that the pitch wasn't flooded, and that the main reason was because of the manager. It's very much like the Arsenal fans become detectives again, which only seems to happen when it comes to the transfer window.
Yeah, but the thing is, what that drives me mad, that whole thing, and that's one of our, as a fan base, that's our toxic trait. It's massive, and it's actually really horrible. Because at the moment, the whole situation, Marusha Littlejohn, don't want to go into it, but the way that she and her sister are behaving, it's not okay. Okay, yes, you don't like Arsenal, you don't for XYZ reasons, but just stop talking about it and just come and try and beat us tomorrow. Well, depending when you're listening today. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's all talk, no action, and it's yeah. I'm not interested in that anymore. Really not.
So, apart from Marusha Littlejohn, there are a few others that have turned
Quite
up.
excited to see Dan Carter, though. I'm very excited to see her.
And not just Dan Carter, Emma McCundy as well, formerly Emma Mitchell. There's some great former Arsenal players, some of them considered legends and history makers. A lot of that is down to Carter scoring that FA Cup winner against Chelsea in 2018.
Wait, don't laugh at my chef's kiss, you.
No, I'm just
That was
laughing
a chef's
because
kiss goal. Like,
it's
oh.
Wembley, Chelsea, Arsenal winning. Name a perfect duo, and Daniel Carter with
I
a
can
goal.
name more recent memory. I can name Crystal Palace's ground in that instead of Wembley.
Yes. Well, hopefully in a couple of years' time, the Conti Cup will eventually head on down to Wembley. I believe that is the actual end game for Conti Cup, is to be at Wembley like the FA Cup is every season. That's another thing we need to touch up on as well, is should we get past home tie against Aston Villa?
I got Adam in the back of my head now. Our record against Aston Villa is not great. We lost to them last year. Look at how we finished end of the season. Oh yeah, but we've drawn with them and we've won one. I'm like, I'd rather play Aston Villa than Man City or Chelsea at this point.
Yeah.
Like, no disrespect to Aston Villa. I've just watched us lose 1-0 to City. I don't want to see City. Chelsea, beating them once, like the way we did, they will be out for blood the next time they play us. You can guarantee that. And it's not something to fear, but it's a point to prove for Emma Hayes. And that's the one thing I don't enjoy, is when she proves a point and she's playing us. I hate it. I really do. So yeah, bring on Aston Villa. Quite excited. Jordan's coming home. Rachel Daly's back at Meadow Park. What could go wrong? I'm going to eat my words. So I have a feeling in a couple of weeks.
Oh, just so the winner of this will play Aston Villa, and it will be a home tie. I'm quite looking forward to tomorrow's game. I think we're going to win it. I think it's just going to be a 2-0 scoreline. What are you thinking, Lottie?
I actually don't know. After what I saw on Sunday, I don't know. I don't know.
Do you want a little bit of background?
I don't care about ball possession. I care about that ball going in the net. That's what I want. I want the ball in the net. I want to hand the London City Lionesses their backsides to them, and just remind them who we are as a club. Like, yes, you were a part of Millwall. You broke off because Millwall didn't want nothing to do with you, but for a side that is so low down in the Championship, they've got a lot of talk. And that talk needs to be shown on the pitch.
They're at the wrong end of the table as well, shall we say?
Because exactly. Yeah, the lower end of the Championship. I'm trying to be nice.
You look at them and go, you've got some good players there, but how you manage it? It's very similar to Aston Villa, oddly enough, this season, where they're at the wrong side of the table. You're expecting them to push for promotion, but Villa, you were expecting them to get into that Champions League squad, and it hasn't worked out. I'd imagine next season might be their season.
Yeah, I think I might have to call Chelsea to make Champions League next season, and then it backfires. I hope it does.
Well, that's the other thing as well. We don't know what's happening with some of the other teams around us. Jonas has signed his contract, and he's here to stay for the moment, as long as things don't go
south.
South, however you want to say it. I'm touching wood for dear life here because I am.
Yeah, I'm clinging onto my desk at the moment. So, yeah. Anybody else that's listening, please smack a bit of wood. But please don't hurt yourselves.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow's game. I think nothing helps more than when you're going through a little bit of dodgy form, shall we say.
Do you think we'll see Sabson goal again as her last game before she goes off to the Gold Cup?
Yes, I imagine so. Okay. Unless the plan is for Sabrina to go in goal for the game against Manchester United, which means we might see a debut for Sarah Bouhaddi in goal, which I wouldn't be against either.
No, I wouldn't. Actually, that's actually a decent shout, because we've actually got 3 choices now. It's not just Manu or Sabs.
Well, we do have the youngster in goal, Williams. I can't remember her first name as well, but I don't want to put a youngster in goal. I know Kiara Keating has been around for a little bit, but just to
Yeah.
put this
The
out
thing
there.
is, I get that, but as a keeper, you ain't gonna learn unless you get the minutes. And
Very
you know
true.
this.
Very true.
And
But
the reason why she's been called up for England and she is City's number one at the moment is because she's got those minutes. She's made them blunders. She cried her eyes out, bit behind her, and she's gone again. I mean, as I said, she was laughing at the Arsenal fans. Do you know what I mean? It was a banter. It wasn't abuse. It was banter.
my
Like,
argument
she's
would,
clearly like Rachel Dawes, uses it to fuel herself.
my argument would be as well is that she has actually been in WSL since she's 17 years old. She was actually starting that game against Arsenal when Tobin Heath scored the equaliser in the last minute. So she's got
So she's got the experience, but
got
you
a
need
lot
to
of
give her that
experience.
chance to get there in the first place.
Yeah,
That's my point.
We might see her later down the line. We'll never know, because it's very much swings and roundabouts when it comes to the academy. You either get a few hits and a few misses, but we've got some very, very talented players out on loan at Watford and Charlton and Crystal Palace at the moment, and we'll wait and see what happens next season with them. But I'm sure.
I really hope Charlton do come up though. I love Charlton away. It's so much fun. I was gutted when Spurs pulled them, and then they scored in like the 70th or 80th minute.
Yeah,
Against Charlton, I was gutted for them, honestly.
It's the beauty of the FA Cup. You can, I mean,
Not really. Not really.
The fact Chelsea only
won.
Well, the fact Chelsea won 1-0 against can't remember who it was. Palace. Thank you.
Well, again, that was
just
Myra
goes to show.
Ramirez is just screamer. Like, what a first goal.
I mean, imagine had Palace scored like two goals at the other end and won it 2-1. It's just anything can happen. But from the neutrals, that does mean that Arsenal can't get that FA Cup pick again, so you're probably happy about that. And also, I thought I could stretch a little bit out onto the BBC. The BBC have been our worst enemies this year. Of the games that we have lost, they've either been on BBC and Sky have only been the one this season.
That doesn't bother me, if I'm honest with you. Most of the time I'm at the games. Unless we're away, then it's an issue.
For those, that might be a bit of a conspiracy theory, but I'm not saying that it is or it isn't.
Save the conspiracy theory for when Adam comes back, because I'd like to see you two go at it on that. It'd be interesting. So I don't do conspiracy theories. Sorry to disappoint everybody.
Well, just before we wrap up, do you have a goal line for London City Lionesses in mind?
Oh, the scoreline. Ooh. I want to tank them 5-0 because we can. It's no disrespect to London City Lionesses. It's just everything that's building up to this match the last 2 weeks is driving me nuts. I just want to spank them and just move on and go on to Villa. So.
Well, we've also got United on the weekend as well, so that's it. Going to make it even more fun.
We need that boost. We need that boost massively. So, and plus the fact it's 12:30 kickoff.
Yeah.
Why 12:30?
It's just mad, isn't it? Well, it is towards the end of the episode. Thank you all for joining us. If you're watching along.
On you.
Feels that way when Kim Little's got the ball.
I do apologise to our audio listeners. I did take the opportunity to just wind up Matt. I was wiggling my fingers at him, and that's why he's chuckling his head off. But yeah, no, sorry, Matt. Do you want to wrap up?
Yeah, I'll try again. Thank you all for watching, listening, wherever you are. We've really enjoyed talking about today. It's Conti Cup or bust, but just before then.
No, it's not Conti Cup or bust. It's us defending our title. Our trophy.
You can find us on a VAW pod on Twitter. You can also find Adam at Adam Salter for And you can also find myself on at MattLR28. Where can they find you, Lottie?
At Lottie_AWFC. You'll find me occasionally commenting on things, but I mainly retweet the pod account at the moment. I don't live on social media anymore. It's great.
So that is it for another episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Wherever you are, we hope you have a good day and good evening, good night, whatever you're doing when you're watching this or listening to this. Thank you and goodbye. Come on, you gunners.